you look. Pretty good.
That's good.
All right. So just wait till noon and then we'll turn. You.
Hello, I'm Larry Reimer, and I'll be preaching this Sunday about the element of water. I'm struck by the ways that water has come to represent two opposite conditions in our spiritual symbols. First is the still water. Psalm 23 is the classic example. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. God makes me lie down in green pastures. God leads me beside the still waters. God restores my soul. There's also a reading by an English author and poet, Edwin Carpenter, that I return to over and over again in a book called The Choice is Always Ours, and the item is called Lake of Beauty. Do not recklessly spill the waters of your mind in this direction and that, lest you become like a spring lost and dissipated in the desert. But draw them together into a little compass and hold them still, so still, and let them become clear, so limpid, so mirror-like. At last the mountains and skies shall glass themselves in peaceful beauty, and the antelope shall descend to drink and gaze at her reflected image, and the lion to quench his thirst. And love personified shall come and bend over and catch their own likeness in you. Those are two sources I return to often when I need spiritual centering. And yet, on the other hand, water is a fearsome threat when it turns into storms at sea or floods that overcome us. The great flood of Noah's time wipes out all but one faithful family and a select cast of animals. Jonah is seen as the culprit for a storm at sea and is thrown overboard. And Jesus goes out with his disciples on a boat on the sea when the wind and the rain rise up, swamping the boat until Jesus, who has been asleep on the stern, is awakened, and he calls the sea to be still, and it is. I've been out at sea when waves were so high they washed over the bow of a 40-foot fishing boat. I've been part of the cleanup after Hurricane Katrina, whose destructive water, even weeks later, was like a punch in the stomach. And I have returned to the meditations of Psalm 23 in the quiet lake to still my shaken soul and lowered my blood pressure. So grace, like waters, both churns up my life and gives me stillness, and I'm still learning to embrace them both. A common element, it seems, of all the elements we've been sharing this Lenten season is that they all have two sides, their fearsome challenge and their life-giving grace. And that's how we walk in faith, challenged and comforted. As Ken Bradley, our faithful custodian at this church for years and years, was fond of saying, it's all good. Thank you.
All right.
There we go.